Huh? Yo, you won. Kanzi been pecking on you again? You're really like totally useless, aren't you?
Oh, shut up, Puma.
But you won. There's something you can do about it, I think. Come on, let's go. Give it a shot.
Huh?
This absolutely obscure and beautiful rhythm game is 2006's Gitaroo Man Lives, the remake of 2001's Gitaroo Man for the PS2, though this one is on the PSP, which stands for Physically Superior Portable, because it was the best handheld games console. And to do it some justice, I am replaying, revisiting and reviewing Gitaroo Man Lives. And before you've even done any playing at all, the game greets you with the most inviting way possible.
Gitaroo Man. Oh,
The tutorial isn't poorly done, but the original for the PS2 did it slightly better. However, instead of our sassy little friend Puma explaining to us how to play, I'll just explain it in more of a summary, even though Puma is very important to the story.
All systems okay, you won?
Oh, shut up, Puma.
The game is split into two main gameplay mechanics, the first being the attacking phase, of which the player must press the action button when the orange circle meets the blue center dot, then hold for the duration of the orange bar. The second gameplay mechanic is the defense section, where the player must hit the corresponding buttons as it travels from the outer side of the cross to the center blue dot. But after the tutorial stage, oh, now the game starts to get good. After the tutorial stage, there are 10 story stages, 2 multiplayer stages, and 1 multiplayer versus arena type thing, but those I won't be able to replay this time because you need a loser friend who's willing to play Gitaroo Man with you. The first stage after the tutorial sees you fight a demon baby with an axe guitaroo that threatens to morbidly chop you in half. However, before he can do so, Puma allows U1 to take on his true form! But that's okay, because with everything you've learnt, the first song is absolutely sick and it just throws you straight in with a... And after the completion of the first stage and such a great song, despite how strange the level may be, the game doesn't fail to deliver, as Stage 2 has potentially the most memorable song in the entire game. However, before that, the game doesn't fail in giving you even more motivation to keep playing.
you win.
Before the next stage begins, we're introduced to 2 additional characters, Pico, the love interest, and Kazuya, the bully. It shows that U1, our main character, is actually a complete loser and can't skateboard, even though skateboarding is the thing that he wants to do. Regardless, then the actual level begins.
Now you won. Remember how easily I tripped you up yesterday? You can't do anything, let alone skateboard. Face it, you'll never succeed. Not in 100 million years.
I will too succeed. No, wait, maybe not. I'm pathetic.
As this next stage begins, before there's any notes, I remember that you can actually control Gitaroo Man with the direction you're facing the light from the center. So, as you can see, pointing left makes him do this kind of holding the Gitaroo to the side stance. And as a kid, I would always have him doing this in every scene where there wasn't notes because I thought it looked cool. There's not a lot to say about the next stage. It is very jazzy and the song is good. I think it's funny as the song progresses, the animals all start joining in, but I can't help but realise that, Puma, mate, is there something I don't know that you do know? Because it almost looks like he wants to look shocked at the fact that Mojo King Bee is about to jump out and attack. Puma's all like, oh, what?
You've been living at my place.
I don't know exactly when I was born, so I'm not exactly the... Dude, look out! Huh? I'm gonna get you, Gitaroo Man!
We then see some exposition through Puma's eyes as Miranda the Elder, who serves as almost like an omniscient voice of the story, he seems to answer all the questions the player may ask, such as what are Gitaroos, who is Gitaroo Man and his ancestry, and how to defeat the antagonist. He also gives Gitaroo Man the main mission of travelling to planet Gitaroo to save the world.
Puma, I'm not going. No, I'm not going to any planet Gitaroo.
Then we're introduced to a multi-stage fight. This entire stage is a defense phase. And I remember as a kid, this was a bit of a turning point for me. This is the first roadblock I came up to. It's very difficult. At least compared to the previous 3 stages we've just done. This fight is very difficult. I think the thing that makes this section of the game difficult is the fact that you're tapping to the backing beat of the song as opposed to following guitar notes, if anything. Now for the next phase of this fight, Ben K, the space shark, transforms into a giant robot with turntables on his chest, and therefore our protagonist feels like it's appropriate to turn his spaceship into a giant mech, and then they have a Gundam battle, I suppose, because Japanese video game maybe? Also, as a child, I thought that Ben K was playing music by rubbing his titties, and Gitaroo Man's mech was playing music by rubbing his testicular region. And I know I was a goofy kid because I found his duping techniques of look over there and his exclaiming fatigue while being in a giant robot to be quite humorous. But just like that, Ben K is defeated and we arrive safely on planet Gitaroo.
You win.
After we receive some exposition from the main antagonist. Brilliant, of course we do.
Zoe of the Gravillions. You may hand over your Gitaroo to me.
Huh?
That is the legendary last Gitaroo I have been searching for all my
Don't
life.
give it to him, you one!
Oh, of course not.
Very well. Our empire is beginning its conquest of the universe. I'll start out with you, weaklings. You cannot possibly defeat me. Not in a million billion years.
Puma?
To Planet Gitaroo!
Oh, shut up, Puma.
And then we are introduced to Kira, who U1 mistakes for Pico because they look very similar. Just like, strangely enough, how Zoe looks like Kazuya, the bully at the beginning. And we seduce her on our acoustic guitar that she claims to have never been able to play very well, even though trying to pick one up once.
Oh, yeah.
Here we meet the next difficulty spike of the game. Puma gets captured, therefore U1 has no means of turning into Gitaroo Man, so the first half of this song is a defense phase against 3 opponents instead of 1.
What am I supposed to do, Puma?
Just dodge, you one. Keep dodging.
And you can also see some character progression in the story here, as U1 goes from dreading the transformation phase to actively needing it and understanding that he needs the transformation to Gitaroo Man. Now would also be the perfect time to mention that each song has 2 to 3 different variations of segments depending on how much health the enemy has left and how long it's taken you to whittle down the enemy's health, or even at random. My favourite section from childhood in this song is when the red skeleton has his little solo. Even though as a kid I rarely heard this section, on my first playthrough this time I actually got it, so let's listen. Then Miranda the Elder gives us some comedy.
What weak spots?
Their weak spots are, I forget.
We defeat the Sandbone Trio.
You win.
And then Miranda the Elder gives us some more exposition on there being only 2 Gitaroos left and how we're right near the end of the story. I always found it ironic how Miranda the Elder says this here.
Don't lose now.
And I found that ironic because this stage had me failing over and over again for days, potentially even weeks as a kid. You can tell I'm worried as well because during the recording I paused the game because I knew which boss fight it was. Which means that now's the perfect time to mention how each enemy in this game has a unique win quote of their own if they beat you.
Oh, you lose. Oh no.
Sorry. I have to go home now.
Wait, can I offer you some tea or maybe a juice or...
Oh, you lose.
Come on, man. What's up with that?
Oh, you lose.
It's dark!
And yet, this next encounter, Gregorio III, has the worst one I even feel like I've developed some Stockholm Syndrome for it, because now I love it. But, oh my god, as a kid, I heard this so much, I was hearing it in my sleep. And once you've heard this thing once, it's enough. You do not want to hear it again. And here it is, let me play it to you.
Oh, you lose.
Mama, I've done it again.
This fight is by far the hardest fight in the game. Even though there's 2 stages after this, once you've beaten this stage, I assure you, if you play this game for yourself, you'll beat the next 2 stages if you beat this one. He is by far my most hated and most loved character personally, all at the same time. Before now, the enemy's Gitaroos have been an axe or a strange UFO that surrounds you. The previous fight was 3 individual Gitaroos all made up of one. But now this guy who stood in front of you, the entire cathedral is his Gitaroo. He has a choir. He has stone angels that attack you. He has an organ behind him. And all he does is frolic around the cathedral, dancing and conducting. He is terrifying. Also, fun fact, after defeating Gregorio in the original 2001 Gitaroo Man, he has blood on his lip during the delivery of his final line. However, the blood was censored out of the PSP version, and I have no idea why. But, with Gregorio defeated, it's on to the fight with the alleged greatest Gitaroo warrior, even though I think Gregorio is a much harder fight.
Gitaroo Man, I'm impressed. It seems the legends are true. But I've prepared the stage for the ultimate test. Who's the true ruler of planet Gitaroo? It will be decided once and for all here in Gitaroo Arena!
So the greatest Gitaroo warrior is working for Zoe. Who could have seen it coming? And who could it possibly be? Oh, it's Kira. What a plot twist. The love interest. Or the Gitaroo world love interest. Not to be mistaken for Pico. The Earth love interest. You know what? It's not important.
So it's you. You're Gitaroo Man.
So now our protagonist is fighting both the enemy and his morals, and he doesn't know which one to choose. So he settles for quite a legendary moment.
No, I can't do it, Puma. She's the one person that I refuse to fight.
Gitaroo Man, why won't you fight?
I can't.
You won! A attack her, or she'll finish you!
Get up, Gitaroo Man! Get up, get up, get up!
You won! Stand up!
I can't fight Kira. I just can't.
Gitaroo Man, stand up, fight!
I won't. I won't fight you, Kira. The real enemy is Zoe.
So yes, halfway through the fight, he decides not to fight, and instead, he plays the song that he played for her when he was trying to seduce her, back on the island. When she realises, she decides to join in. She plays the song alongside him, even though she clearly said before that she picked up a guitar and was never able to play. She hands over the Gitaroo, and Gitaroo Man has finally earned all 8 Gitaroos. Time for the final boss.
You are the true Gitaroo Man.
8 legendary Gitaroos are now together as one. The Gitaroo's true form, possessing incredible powers.
We got them all, you won! Nobody thought you could, but you did it! You really did it!
Oh, shut up, Puma.
Kira, you betrayed me.
No, Zoe. I just finally realized that my music is not for fighting.
That's right. Go home, Zoe.
I hate you!
Curse you, Gitaroo Man! I'll fight you myself. My armored Gitaroo will blast you to smithereens. Eat this! You by myself? You're just a pathetic loser. You couldn't beat me in all of never-ending eternity.
Why you?
You can do it.
So tell me, what can you do?
I can do it.
What, defeat me?
I can.
Not you.
Can too.
You're a loser.
Am not.
Always made fun of.
No way.
Always dumb.
Never.
Always running.
No.
Always failing.
No.
Fail in all things.
No.
Can't do anything.
Yes, I can.
So what can you do?
I can do it.
What is it you can do?
I can do it.
What can you do? Show me now.
Sure, I can.
Miserable scum. Show me all you've got.
I can do it. I can.
No, you can't.
I can.
There's no way you can.
And I can.
You can't.
Because I can.
Because what?
Because.
Say it. Because what?
I can do it. Because. Go you. Because I'm Gitaroo.
Oh, the light! The light!
Damn you.
So this is one of the cutscenes that I always watched as a kid and didn't skip because I thought it was just so cool and epic the way that he emits true power, but in reality as an adult watching it back, it's a bunch of really silly lines like "Go home, Zoe, I hate you," and "Silence, because what? No, I won't go home," and a back and forth for a few seconds of "You can't defeat me, yes I can, you can't, but I can." I don't know whether the translators just got a little bit bored and decided not to fully translate this scene, however this is what we're left with. However, this last boss is a little bit underwhelming because it's not so difficult. Perhaps this is from a lore perspective as if to say the legendary Gitaroo Man is very powerful and Zoe is not, but all you're left with is a very underwhelming final fight. We're actually then not given a provocative "you win" at the end of this stage, it's just fade to black into a cutscene of you won, leaving Gitaroo World and returning to his home world, where he plays an air guitar so well it stuns the bully, and he runs away with the girl. Happy ending. So what now? Does this game have any endgame content or replayability? Because to me replayability is a very valuable aspect of a game. Actually, yes, this game does have a level of both endgame content and replayability. So for replayability, there is the option to go back and get a high letter grade on every stage. In doing so, unlocks some more lore in the gallery section. However, the end game content, if you really want to call it that, is actually kind of the highlight of the whole game, Master Play Mode. Now, Master Play Mode is the ability to replay the game on a substantially harder difficulty, and it is so much fun. When I said previously that I was stuck for days, maybe even weeks on Gregorio, this was the difficulty I was stuck on. Master Play Mode. So, final verdict on Gitaroo Man Lives? Heavily recommend. Aside from potential epilepsy triggers, the visuals are great. Full of Easter eggs if you're willing to find the band in every stage, good luck. Lots of additional lore if anybody's interested in that, fun and quirky characters. Gameplay is challenging, with opportunities to replay and beat one's own scores. Loads of little unlockables. Game is a little bit too short and is extremely cheesy, but overall, excellent. So, charge up your old PSPs and grab yourself a copy of Gitaroo Man Lives. I'm Konquest, and I'll see you all in the comments section.